Now if you come on down to Highbury, you can see Thierry Henry. He is the best player you will ever see. Thierry Henry. Now if you come on down to Highbury.
Hello and welcome to From Dial Square to Where. And today Ryan's on his way, but we've got George with us. How are you, George?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well indeed. It's great to have you back on. And Kunjan, how are you?
How are you, buddy? All the way from the 254.
Whatever that means, I'm not down with the kids. So,
That's our country code. That's our country code for Kenya. It's the 254. You see?
Fantastic.
Like you guys are like 4-4. No. You guys are the 4-4, so we're like the 254.
Well, back at you, mate. Back at you.
Or it could be Arteta's new formation. Who knows?
You never know what he might come up with tomorrow.
Yeah.
Might be sort of super braining it against Liverpool coming up. But we've got a lot to talk about today, and we've got another fabulous performance to talk about from since we last reconvened here last week. So, first off, I'll come to you first, George. Arsenal are pretty good at football, aren't they?
Yeah, I haven't been. It's been a long time where I've been able to say this. I think we've been playing really, really well recently. I remember when a certain American told me to be excited. Yeah, I am excited now. I actually am. We're point ahead of the Man United. I think who it was then. And we're playing some really nice football. Like people keep telling me, they don't understand what Arteta's way of playing football is. That's what I've had this week, and I'm like, no. I think we're playing well. I know we'll come to it later in the show, but I've got a lot to say about Martin Odegaard. But
aren't we all?
Yeah, I think I might be having a bit of a man crush. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, you have to get back in the queue, mate, because I've had one for a little while now. Honestly, yeah.
So I'm blind, mate. I get personal, I go first.
No, sorry, mate. I'm sorry. You can't pull the blindness card on me. You can't pull that on me.
It was worth a try, wasn't it?
No, what a wonderful human being he is. We're so lucky to have him. We really are. Kunjan, same thing to you. We're really rather special at the moment, I think. It's something that's been going on for a while now, but it just seems to be just getting better by the week, really, at the moment. It's great, isn't it?
Again, I keep saying this. When we want to track back, just maybe about 6-7 months back, whether or not we were playing Norwich or Burnley or Liverpool, we went into every game nervous. Every game we were unsure whether we would take even a point out of it. I remember where everyone was like, we need to make the Emirates a fortress. And even this season, early in the season, anyone we would play would be like, we hope we can win. We hope we can get 3 points. Now, especially whenever we're playing at the Emirates, we're discussing results. We're like, yeah, I can see a 2-0. I can see a 3-1. I can see a 1-0. We're confident with the 3 points. It's just a matter of the scoreline now. And we're putting away teams like Leicester, who like last season we knew, like even Aston Villa, we were getting turned over by like the Aston Villas, the Leicesters, and now we're at such a strong position where if I went up to you in December saying before the end of March we would be 1 point ahead of United with games in hand at 4th position, you'd bite my hand off and more.
Absolutely. And I'll just say hello to Ryan. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks, yourself.
Yeah, very good indeed. Very good. And we've just been saying Arsenal are really rather good at football now, which is lovely, isn't it? And we've got so much to talk about, I think, with regards to the match, against Leicester that we had the other day. I mean, Georgie's going to start off his man love session with Odegaard in a short while. But I've already told him that he's got to get back in the queue with regards to that one, because I think we're all feeling the same with him at the moment. But just some general thoughts really about how we're playing at the moment, because it's wonderful, isn't it?
No, it is beyond what we could have thought of this season, especially with the transition, we are in transition still, and we're still a few players away from being where we want to be competitive-wise. But it's all in the right direction now. And the one thing me and yourself have mentioned over the last couple of seasons is consistency. That's what's sort of done us over every time. The lack of consistency in terms of putting a good run of results together. We're doing that now. And as I said last night, and I was saying that during my stream on Sunday, I'm getting worried for myself because I'm starting to believe that we're going to do it.
I don't think you need to get worried.
Just yet.
Yeah, I know, but I just see a team that's just playing differently than what we've seen in the last few years, without the baggage, without the sort of the inferiority complex going into matches against certain teams. I just hope more than anything that we see that tomorrow, that we don't go into the match against Liverpool just fearing the worst, fearing that, they are a much better team than us. It goes without saying that over the last few years, of course they are a better team than us, but we're playing brilliantly at the moment. And I think current form has to count for something when you go into these games. You can't just always talk about how it's been historically and how it's been over the last few years. You've got to talk about the here and now. And I mean, George, I don't think we should go into the game tomorrow with that inferiority complex because of the way that we're playing football now and the run that we're on. I don't think we should be fearing anyone.
No, so I'm a bit torn there because the Arsenal supporter in me still worries a tiny bit, but going on past performances, I'm going to put it out there. I don't think there's a better team play in the league at the moment consistently than what we're doing. Like, is it we've won 9 out of 10 or something like along those numbers?
9 out of 11. 9 out of 11. We've got one draw and one loss in the last 11.
We haven't lost since we played City, and that we shouldn't have lost that one either. Liverpool, I've watched them a bit. They've won, but they've not been that impressive. So, like Kunjan was saying before, yeah, why not? We can. If you said to me, would I take a point now? Yes. But that is still, I don't think your Arsenal fans are going to completely eradicate that nervousness. But all I hope is what happens if, and it does sound a bit negative, but if we do lose tomorrow, is that we don't see the meltdown everywhere. Because anything positive out of tomorrow's game is positive for us going in the league. I don't know. I said this before I went to Anfield when we drew 0-0. Everyone was saying they were going to batter us and everything. And I got to Anfield and I was like, the feel around the stadium, I don't think they are. And tomorrow, if Saka's fit, because I haven't seen Arteta's conference today, because surprised Leicester didn't get done for GBH the amount of times they were battering him on Sunday. Why not? I think I wouldn't be surprised if we tweaked it a tiny bit, and people can't understand when I say that. So I don't know if you want to come to that later or now quickly. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if we play 3 at the back tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I just think. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
I'm not saying he will, but
no. I know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I just think that we need to be just playing the way we're playing it and play our football. This is only my opinion. The way that we've got things going at the moment.
Backer's injured. So
I don't think he is. No, with regards to the press conference, the only doubt was Tommy again. However, Tommy's training, he said, and the quote was basically, "We'll see how he trains today." So he is training today, Tomiyasu. But for me,
we rushed him back last time, didn't we?
Exactly. So. Yeah. I can't see him playing tomorrow. I mean, I think
I think Cedric's been doing all right. I was one of Cedric's biggest people moaning about him, but I think he's kind of stood up and been counted recently. Like the Watford game, I thought he was all right against Leicester, and just.
I don't think he's
well. I'm just not used to it.
I think he's coming to a settled team, hasn't he? Like we said before. I think you said it last week, Kunjan. When he's coming to the team, he's come into a settled team. very functioning team, and because he's got a run of games all of a sudden now, Cedric, rather than being in and out, shake it all about, he's got a bit of form together and that rhythm.
Yeah.
So I think he's showing that he's a decent fullback in his own right. Is either with the answer, calls probably not, but I do worry a little bit about him against Liverpool with the players that they've got. But it looks like Salah is going to play after all.
That's a surprise.
Tomorrow. That's Liverpool's press conference. He's training today, so
I was so shocked when I heard that. Like, it was probably the most shocking thing I've heard. Like, Salah being injured. Yeah, of course he was.
I know, exactly.
But then that shows we're a threat to them if they've got to do them sort of mind games.
Yeah, well, like I said yesterday in Ryan's show, they cheated their way out of playing us last time in the cup, didn't they?
Yeah.
They didn't want to face us.
I think there's more on Liverpool tomorrow. I really do. Like, it is important for us because obviously top four, but like if they don't win the title race, they've slipped up because of the result last night.
I think so. Yeah, and the pressure's all going to be on them. I mean, Kunjan, I honestly think that we should go into this game on the front foot at home against Liverpool. People will probably call me crazy. It may come back and bite me in the arse, but I think we should try and impose our game onto them and push them, especially push their fullbacks back. I think we know that Cedric's strength isn't in the defensive third; it's in the sort of midfield and attacking third. He's better going forward. So I think we should, if he's playing tomorrow, which I'm sure he will be, then I think we should try and utilise him in his best way by pushing back Robertson on his side of the pitch and go for it. I mean, what's your thoughts on that one? Kunjan.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things. Like I saw a very interesting fact the other day, which is the last time Liverpool lost in the Premier League was in December. And here's the irony: it was to Leicester. So if they lost out to Leicester and we just beat Leicester, I mean, just put the pieces together, hopefully.
Yeah.
Another thing is that Cedric, I worry having Cedric on the right because be it Luis Diaz or Robertson, you can see Cedric struggling over there. But I do have a lot of faith in the centre backs. I think the centre backs are doing a great job. I genuinely believe we can take 3 points. And George, I'm 100% with him on this. There's a lot of pressure on Liverpool. There's more pressure on Liverpool than there is on us because right now Liverpool want to go for the title and they're not going to sit back and just play out a draw or even let us come at them. They want to go for the 3 points. And that's where I see us hurting them because we have done that to Man City when City came down to the Emirates. And I mean, I do believe Liverpool have a more potent attack as compared to City because City are still missing a out-and-out striker. Liverpool have 5 very good strikers to select from or 5 really good forwards to select from. So I do see us being really, really tested with the defense, but that does not mean that we won't test their defense. And I think the last time we played Liverpool, we did not have our structure with Lacazette. We were still finding our grooves when we played them in the League Cup. Now you can see that fluidity. Now you can see that cohesion with the midfield, with the defense, even with Ramsdale. If you watched him with Leicester, he made a really good save. And next thing, he's belting it up to try and pluck someone up to have maybe an assist or a pre-assist. So I do see the cohesion. I do see us playing a very solid team going forward, and we would want to go for the jugular. And I do expect a good game, to be very honest.
Yeah. Since we last played them as well, I think I'm right in saying we had Tavares at left back. Nothing against the guy, but he obviously he's an experienced guy. We had Sambi in midfield. I don't even think, and I think I'm right in saying, but don't quote me on it 100%. I don't think we had Odegaard in the team at that point either. I think it was a spell that he was out. So we've got a different team again playing them this time, Ryan, and we are a completely different team with regards to form, confidence, structure. the way we're playing. We were still playing 4-2-3-1 at that point as well, rather than this new formation that we found, which is a bit of genius from Arteta, keeping Xhaka as far away from our goal mouth as possible, so he can't give away free kicks and penalties. So I think we've got a better chance because of the way that we're playing and the actual players that we're going to be picking tomorrow as well. So I mean, you've got to be a bit confident. I totally understand what George is saying. It's not just an Arsenal thing. I think it's all football fan thing. When you've got a game like this, you're always going to be nervous. But I don't think the team is giving us any reason to not have any kind of confidence at all to get something out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I've been saying for the last few weeks, not just here, over on my podcast as well, saying, going back to obviously that run we keep mentioning, that the one defeat and draw in 11 in all the other games we've won, not 9 wins in 11, you're saying earlier. And you've got to remember, that was when it all started, this run started. It was when the Aubameyang situation just went out of literally in terms of the whole kick of it all. And ever since then, we've seen more of a team unity in the 11 that gets picked, no matter who gets picked in that 11. It's more of a unity. There's more balance in the team. There's just a general more happiness with the players. And we're not heavily reliant. It's not 10 players carrying the Aubameyang basic. And that's what we had before. The last time we played him in the league at Anfield, Aubameyang I remember watching that game getting so frustrated because he's just walking the entire match, just walking around the pitch at 0-0-1. He's just walking, and it just really hacked me off. And I know no matter what, no matter who gets picked tomorrow, we're not going to have that issue. They're going to have every player will leave everything on the bench, and that's another thing that's different from when we played them. Or that we have that hunger, that desire to leave everything on the pitch, and we keep saying, we've said it for years, we don't have this, contrary to popular belief in the media and all that, and on social media, we don't believe we should be winning every game. We don't have that entitlement. No club should have that entitlement. We just want our players to give their all, and that's what they're doing now.
Yeah,
and we're going into these games. I mean, we're going into tomorrow. We're going into games like tomorrow, having that belief that we can get something from it, home or away. I'm not fearing any game. I'm not going into the Liverpool games or Man United in a few weeks' time, Chelsea's, etc., having that fear that the worst could happen. There's a belief within the fan base now, most of the fan base anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm one of these.
George, I know we've mentioned George to get into it later, but Odegaard is he's the one that's getting us ticking. Everything's gone through him and Partey. It's just, you sit there, that's the level of players we wanted.
Oh, I mean, might as well go on to that now. I mean, it's your turn, George. I mean, there's a comment on the screen there from Steve Denham saying, "Hi, Steve. I want Odegaard to have a really good game because the naysayers will come out the woodwork saying he can only do it against the small teams." Yeah, you always get the fans like that drive me insane on social media all the time. But yeah, I can't see him having anything but a good game at the moment because the way he's playing, he is, and I put it in an article I wrote a while ago, saying he's like the Castrol GTX in our engine. And since he's come in, the engine has been remapped as well because with the extra power that he provides, and just he is an unbelievable player, isn't he? And we just, like I said earlier in the show, we are lucky to have him. It's just a joy to watch him at the moment.
Yeah. So I had this. So when we got Odegaard on loan last season, it was last season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was saying to friends of mine that is a player. Like, if Arsenal can sign him on a permanent, we're very, very lucky. And then the Maddison rumours come about, and it was like, and I was always camp Odegaard. Addison and Maddison's a great player, but Odegaard, it's like one of my friends Liam says, he's got a glass ceiling, and when that breaks, and like I think he'll become one of the best players in his position in the world in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I do as well.
He just makes us tick. Like, I think he's been good all season. He's very, very underrated because everyone bands on how great Saka's doing, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Ramsdale. No one really Odegaard does what he's got to do. Like, and I just think he's amazing. And you think, was it 30, 35 million? What a bargain. Like, you tell me, I can't think of another. For me, one of the best signings of the season. I can't see anyone else who's that much better than him for what he's doing. And you think when we've been, some of our bad results, we've not really had him. I don't think he was there at the start of the season, was he?
Well, when at the start of the season, people were criticising his performances. But if you remember, that is that period where Arteta was using him as part of the double pivot alongside Thomas Partey for that period of time, where he was playing deep, which is not his position at all. He couldn't dictate the game. He was being asked to do a completely different role. So I was throughout all that period, I was mentioning that on the podcast we were doing, like on my channel, Ryan's channel, saying it's not fair to judge him on this because he's been asked to do a specific role which is not suiting his abilities. But
one thing I'll say about the comment that says he needs to have a good game tomorrow because people say he only does against the small clubs. The majority of the better players do it against the small clubs, to be honest. Like I don't say there's a select few that turn up in big games. Like,
no.
If you go through the games, the majority of the best players in the leagues get the majority of their goals or assists or their better performances against smaller teams.
Yeah, of course.
Like Ronaldo, he does it against small teams, he does it against Spurs.
Exactly, yeah.
But I don't know. Also, I know we're talking about Odegaard, but Ryan said about Partey. Now, I think we've got the Partey from Atletico Madrid. I honestly believe that. In the last
I think he's getting
weeks.
better than that.
Since the AFCON, I can't have a go at him. Like, it was funny because at the Leicester game on Sunday, I was with my friend Lottie and we was watching the game. It was a corner and I went, "Oh, we never score from corners." And I'm not even joking, mate. 2 seconds after a corner's gone in, bang, it's Partey. Second time that's happened. First, it was against Villa, wasn't it? He scored. I went, I don't know. I was like, everyone bloody tells him to shoot all the time. He just don't know how to score. 2 seconds later, he scores. So,
I know.
I don't know if Thomas Partey listens to my audio headset, but he might be. But,
and then he hit the crossbar, didn't he, as well, after that?
I saw someone, what was it? Someone called him Sergio Partey. They called him on the audio headset because they thought he was playing like Aguero. I don't know. With Odegaard, I think he's going to get better and better. And I know there's a lot of talk about captains. I wouldn't be dead against an idea of Odegaard being named captain next season.
No, I just think he's head and shoulders clear in the list as far as I'm concerned.
If Real Madrid, though, if Real Madrid are watching, they must be absolutely kicking themselves. Like,
the fans are going mad.
Yeah.
The fans are going mad on social media. Yeah.
So I know they've just beat PSG in the Champions League, whatever, but that's thanks to Benzema. But he would get in that team like that. Like, I feel quite blessed. We've got someone like that. He reminds me. So obviously, I can't visually use might say I'm talking absolute rubbish, but he reminds me a bit of a mixture of Bergkamp and Ozil in his day.
Yeah.
So if he gets to the levels of Bergkamp, then great. Like, we've got a special player, but we've got a special player anyway. But I just think he's amazing, and like you say, he makes us tick. I can't remember last time he had a bad game. I'm really struggling to remember.
When he came back into the side, there's the Newcastle game after he was out the team for a little while at the beginning of the season, and he didn't have the best game when he came back against Newcastle. But I put a message on Twitter, and I literally said that day he hasn't had his best day today, but we look so much more of a
when was
team.
That? Was that December?
No, it's before then, I think.
November.
I can't remember. Maybe someone can tell us.
November, something like that. But like, you think that was December? 4 months ago.
Exactly. But I said that on that day when he came back, I said he hasn't had his best game today, but I can see already that we are a much better team when he is in the side. He makes us tick, and people were still saying, came back to me, and I'll probably be able to find a tweet, put it on the messages, the replies saying, "Nah, he's rubbish." Blah blah blah. Words to this effect. No, he's not as good as any. He's overrated. And I said, "You wait and see." And
Is that the same people that have said that when we signed Ramsdale, what we signed him for?
Yeah,
or
probably.
Same ones who said we should have signed Emerson Royale instead of Tomiyasu.
Probably, and but he's not been out to. He's literally not missed a game since that day, and he's just got a bit better every single game. And now, the sky's the limit for the guy.
I think he'll have a good game tomorrow. Like, it's going back to what Kunjan said. Like, normally when I go into Arsenal playing City or Liverpool, I'll hold my hands up and say, no chance. Tomorrow, you never know. I think there is a chance.
Yeah. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah. Like Leicester, I knew we'd beat them. And that sounds really big-headed. Like Watford, I said it won't be as easy as everyone's saying because they're saying, no, it's only Watford, but we'll still win. Like I ain't scared of Man United or Spurs or Chelsea. None of them. Why should we?
No. Like I said, Kunjan, I'll come to you now. Sorry. It's just regarding this thing, what George just said. The team have given us no reason, and I'm talking about now again, going back to December 2020, that Boxing Day, right? I've mentioned this before in previous podcasts. Our consistency since that day, yeah, we've had blips here and there, but our consistency since that day has been fantastic. We've been a top 3 side, I believe, since that day with our form, and I know it covers 2 seasons, but it's not like a short period of time we're talking about now. This is like, and it's only gone better this season since we've changed the team with the new incomings from last summer. It's even better now. So the team are giving us no reason to not be confident when we're entering into games like this nowadays. And I'm not getting carried away. I'm not going to say we're definitely going to win tomorrow, but I am confident that we, going in. I already said it in Ryan's show yesterday. I think we're going to win 2-1. But the team are not giving us this reason to not be confident now, are they? I mean, why should we be negative?
No, absolutely not. And that's the thing. Like, I think that's what I said early in the season. Like George mentioned something about a lot of doubters, and I've always said this. I was one of the many, and I've enjoyed my humble pie very well, who was doubting Ramsdale. And right now, I love the guy. And the other day just hit me that we've stopped speaking about Emi Martinez. Do you remember when Ramsdale was signed? When Ramsdale was signed, there's this uproar. What stupid business is Arsenal doing? If they needed a keeper, why did they sell Emi Martinez? No one's mentioning this. No one's even discussing Emi Martinez. The only thing about Emi Martinez someone could speak about is his interview with Ben Foster. Like that's what Aaron Ramsdale has done, and I'm sorry to say, breaks my heart that we don't even know Bird who. We don't even know who the gentleman wearing the number 1 jersey is at Arsenal anymore. Like this is the impact Ramsdale has had, and it was not going to happen instantaneously. Obviously, we have a certain and if you look at the number of clean sheets, I think he's on 12 in the Premier League.
He's on for the Golden Glove.
He's actually up for the Golden Glove, keeping in mind he did not play the first 3 games.
No.
He did not play the first 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something, and we're still on 26 games. If you look at by the time we play 29, even if he has 1 more, that's 1 more closer to Ederson. That's 1 more closer to Alisson. You have to commend Edu. You have to commend Arteta. And this takes me back to January when we got rid of Aubameyang and we did not get a striker in. Again, uproar. What is wrong with Edu? What is wrong with Arteta? But if Edu and Arteta brought in a Kim Kallstrom, we'd be very happy until we realize he's missing a vertebrae. And this is or we got a Dennis Suarez and we're like, oh, we'd rather just stuck it up with Eddie. But
Oh,
what I'm trying to say is that what you're mentioning about this cohesion, what we're talking about this unity of the team, we're talking about how Odegaard is making things tick. Our top scorer is on the bench, and we're okay about it. We're okay about it. Like, Could we be more of an anomaly? We're actually a puzzle that doesn't fit, but yet it's working. And you have to give it to the team. You have
We're
to give it to
that
the
good.
staff.
Lacazette scores.
And did you see the joy on the players? The players ran over to him, and it's so heartwarming. It's so beautiful to see that everyone was with the guy. That, you know what, that penalty is yours. Bury it and let's celebrate. And you could see there was a relief in his face. And this is something that you have to give it to Arteta, to the team behind the scenes. And we're going to see the documentary one day, and we're going to sit there going, so that's what happened. That's why Aubameyang
Mate,
had to
that documentary's getting an Oscar, I tell you. The amount of stuff we went through this year, that is getting an Oscar, easy.
The only thing in this season that I personally am a little disappointed for, we could have challenged for a trophy, whether it's the League Cup or the FA Cup. But you know what? If we're going to get into the Champions League, if we're going to get that income coming in, if we're able to strengthen with 3-4 more players and actually put up a good fight, because I'm not saying we're miles off Liverpool or Man City, but we're not up there. But I do see in the next, let's say, 2 years, we'd give them a good fight. I'm very sure of that.
Would you say
that's,
Chelsea's up there?
sorry?
Would you say Chelsea's up there with Liverpool and City?
Chelsea
No.
are in the gutter now, mate.
Well, no.
No. Irrespective. I think Chelsea have a really good squad. I think they have a really good manager. But I do feel that the players they bring in are associated with a certain image, and that's where we are different. We bring in a Tomiyasu, and no one speaks about it. Tottenham bring in an Emerson Royale, and we were put under the spotlight. Arsenal could have signed Emerson Royale, but they go for this Japanese bloke from the Serie A. And now it's the exact opposite, where everyone is like, Barcelona were laughing when Tottenham made the bid for.
So and the rest of it.
That was a really good impression of Cava.
but again, even Ramsdale, like, we signed Ramsdale, the entire fan base, including me, and I said that I've had my humble pie, and it was bitter. But I was the first one to say, do we need a Ramsdale? Goddamn right, we need a Ramsdale. We get an Odegaard. We get an Odegaard. We get an Odegaard, and the whole fan base jumps at Arteta, going, "You could have had Maddison, but you went for him." I mean, Ben White. We paid £50 million for Ben White. The first comparison was, look at Manchester United. They bought Raphael Varane. The man's done a great job for United. He's been so good for the medical staff. He's been so good warming the bench. He's been so good selling shirts. You have to give it to Varane. He's done something Ben White could not do. I mean, this is what I'm trying to say. The difference between someone like Chelsea and Arsenal here. Chelsea get a Lukaku, get everyone excited, and he's had the record for the least amount of touches in a game. That's fantastic. Good signing, Chelsea.
I have to say, mate, you're on top form tonight. I think you're like hitting Pete Kunjan.
Ramsdale, though, I got a lot of abuse for the Ramsdale debate. So, what a lot of people like, because I think certain people only watch certain football, don't they, as well? Like, if you actually look at the stats, when he was at Bournemouth, he was the third best goalkeeper in the league, behind Alisson and Ederson. Just because they play for a relegated team, don't mean they're crap. It's just they can't help what's in front of him. So when we signed at Ramsdale, I said to a few people, I went, "You watch, he'll be that good this season, and everyone will forget about whinging about Martinez, because that's all I kept hearing. Oh, Martinez. That looks like good business now."
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But no one mentions Joe Willock now either, did they?
No.
Everyone forgot about it. But when we sold these people, it was like, oh, the world's going to end. like Twitter was going on meltdown. Like compared to like Kunjan said, like Ben White. I'd rather have Ben White in my team than the broken fridge freezer at Man United. Like if that's 80 million, like whoever's in charge of their finances must be blinder than I am. Because if you didn't see it, that's a rip-off. Like, I'm surprised Scotland Yard's not involved. Because that's fraud. Like how?
Well, yeah.
And everyone keeps saying about England centre-halves. Ben White is probably the best English centre-half in the league at the moment. I'd like to know who's better than him.
Exactly. I think that Raul was involved in that that signing up at Manchester United.
Well, it's got to be like, unless they've had that over like 12 years, like I wouldn't. Like the only thing I don't know. I don't rate Maguire at all. Like the best goal he scored this season, it was for Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. The hilarious thing is, if he didn't touch it, it would have been offside, wouldn't it? So,
and apparently Romero laughed in his face or something. So
he did, yeah.
He did. And if that was anyone normal, like if that was one of us and someone done that, you'd turn around and deck him, wouldn't you? Especially the season I've had. But
exactly.
But I think the signings we've done have been clever. Obviously, we know that Piers Morgan's on his time of the month about Aubameyang at the minute, because he's scoring goals out in Spain, and I don't know if he's realised, but Arsenal are in the top four. But I don't know if anyone wants to let Piers know that. So
he's blinder than you as well. Obviously, when he's looking at the league table, isn't he?
Yeah, he's too busy attacking the royal family.
He's more contagious, mate. But I don't know. Like the signings we've done, they're not out there like, Arsenal signed him. And that's why I don't think in the summer they're still going to do that. I really don't. Because there's going to...
Well, it'll make him take notice when we sign Haaland in the summer, won't it? Yeah. And that took 37 minutes. 37 minutes today, Ryan. 37 minutes.
I'm just waiting for us to sign Bellingham.
Exactly.
I'm still waiting. Like,
be amazing.
I think we've got more chance signing Jude Law, but maybe.
No, Linda Bellingham. That's
maybe. Or Craig Bellamy, more like. I don't know. I think I'm happy going forward. Like it's about time. Josh told us to be excited. I know that was a long time ago, but it's better late than never.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, it shows potentially that they already had this plan in mind back then, doesn't it? I mean, giving him a bit of a... You never know. But
how dare I give credit to a Kroenke? I better be quiet. Can't
we could have better. We certainly could have worse owners at the moment, couldn't we? Let's put it that way.
Like Roman.
Yeah.
That couldn't happen to a better club, mate. It really
I know, exactly.
I
Ryan,
think we'll give them 50 quid for Reece James and Kante. I think that's better.
We'll give them a fuel card for their bus. That might be.
Can't even do that.
Right, Ryan. I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you think that within the fan base, more than anything, that Ødegaard doesn't get the respect he deserves? Because I think I'm right in saying he's never won a Player of the Month. And he never wins the player of the match either when they're in those votes. He's never won a Player of the Month with the fans. I mean, I don't understand it myself. I just think it's weird.
I think obviously when he first signed, I think parts of our fan base they follow the bigger Arsenal fans, so to speak. And they take what these bigger Arsenal fans say as gospel, and they must know what they're talking about because they've got this big platform. I mean, we had constantly the one person gets mentioned on my channel that lives out in Spain that constantly pervades, even to this day, is pervading Martin. So there's people that's part of the reason why he doesn't get that recognition. Why is he at Arsenal? He's at Real Madrid. He had a chance to fight for his spot and all that. No, he just wanted to feel at home. There was no guarantee that Madrid wanted him in that sense. And when he first came to us, he said, "Now I'm settled. I know I'm here for the long term. Wait and see what's going to happen." It took a few weeks to sort of adapt. You've got to remember he did come in 3 games into, no, it was a week after the season started, and obviously he couldn't play until after the international break because of getting his fitness up and all that. But we're seeing week by week since then. I think he literally his first game. Second game was against Burnley, wasn't it? As a full-time Arsenal player, scores a free kick, scores the winning goal. And he's slowly and gradually he's built himself into the season, and now we're seeing the fruit of it. And he is the closest thing we've had to Dennis since obviously Dennis was here. Ozil should have been that. He never worked with Mesut. You can see the quality at times, but it was hit and miss. Where we're seeing consistency now with Martin. So he's settled in now. He knows what the league's all about. He's adapted, and we talked about it last week. The telepathy between him and the attacking players or the players in general is at another level. It's like they've been playing alongside each other, these players, for a year and a half to 2 years already. That the kicks, the friendship, the bonds. There's no egos. There's making everything so much easier for things to get where they have been. And look, you know what? I'd rather players like him go under the radar because the more highlighted, the more plaudits he'll get. You're going to have the likes of Man City eventually, or Barcelona's eventually, and Real Madrid's want to come back in for him, or your Man United's and all that. And I was like, no, keep under the radar. We'll do our bit. And hopefully, by the time that does come around, because it possibly because these players are that good, that these offers will come in. That we are at a certain level where they'll say, no, I want to stay here, thanks, give me a new contract.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I just find it weird how he doesn't get the respect he deserves from our own fan base.
Because, again, I think, to answer your question, I think it's just because it's not just him as a stand. No, he is a fantastic player. He has been fantastic for us. It's not just him, though. It's other players as well. They're stepping up. As you say, Randell's coming. Took this Leno and doesn't look back. Ben White Ben White's come in alongside Gabriel from the partnership there. Even when he's not playing, got Nuno Tavares comes in. You've got obviously Tomiyasu that's come in and made an absolute upgrade on what we've had for right back for years. And even when he's out, Cedric's in the last 5 games now has stepped up and hasn't looked out of place, hasn't looked fatigued, hasn't looked like he shouldn't be there. And it goes throughout the whole team. And obviously now, after the AFCON now, we're finally seeing consistency in terms of midfield pivot, in terms of no injuries, no suspension. So we're seeing the same pivot in terms of Partey and Granit. And because they're behaving themselves, we're seeing how good they are together and how well that's been for the team, because it's the pivot of what it is. If it builds around that, it allows the players to then obviously do what they need to do, work to their strengths. If Granit pushes forward, Gabriel and Ben White push forward themselves and support Partey, and vice versa. Partey pushes a bit forward. Odegaard drops deep, links up with the midfield, the pivot, and pushes forward. You've got Dr. Smith Foes, our top goal scorer, as mentioned earlier. He's our bench. He's not a bench forward, but he's on the bench at the moment. He's not even starting. He's our top goal scorer. When he's not starting, we're not up in arms. Was like, okay, cool. He'll come off the bench to serve an impact, because that's what he's been doing as well. Even when he hasn't started, he comes on, still has an impact in the game. Saka, after everything he got put through, fit mentally and in every aspect back in the summer, the season he's had is amazing. There's no other word for it. It's absolutely amazing. And hats off to him, and hats off to everyone that got behind him behind the scenes and helped him, because he must have needed. Not just family members, but the club itself got their arms around him. The fans that put the fans at the young kids, and even us grown adults writing into the cup, sending letters of support to him in the summer. That's helped him. I think that's massively helped him in terms of confidence. That could have easily just destroyed him. As I start the season, I remember doing the podcast on my channel, and I was saying I had a slight concern. This needed to be managed. That situation needed to be managed really, really well. Otherwise, that could destroy him. He's a young kid. He was 19 at the time. But yeah, as I say, he's literally just got his head down, got the right team around him, and kicked on. And he hasn't looked back.
No.
Like as that, even though he ain't scoring loads of goals. He's a team player. He's showing that of all the experienced players, he's put Aubameyang to shame in terms of his professionalism. The guy's contract is up. We knew, as it's saying, he's on his way out the door. Yet he's given more to this club this season in the last few seasons than what Aubameyang has done. He's an example. Hence why obviously he's got the armband afterwards, after the Aubameyang situation. Martinelli stepped up another level, and there's more to come from Martinelli as well. So I think it's more of because there's so many players you can mention. It's more of a team effort nowadays. It's not just the one individual and hope for the best. The best sort of click on the day. I think that's another reason why he sort of doesn't get the recognition he deserves by like the players of the months or man of the matches when the votes come along. But if you notice, every time recently, I can't remember how long it's been now, he's always one of the four choices Arsenal put out there.
Yeah, he does. That's why it's weird how we but yeah, it's right that we have got. It's great that we've got a lot to choose from, basically. But I know you've got to leave very shortly, Georgie boy. So I'm going to ask you a question. The good thing is nowadays on the StreamYard, you can actually highlight questions when they come in or certain comments, so we can go back to them later. And I'm going to do that with some of your comments, Stephen, because you put some good ones in the chat here. But one of the questions I'm going to ask George now because he's got to go in a second. Which is, speaking of the strikers, says Stephen Denham, who are you guys wanting to come in? So I'm going to ask you before you have to go, George. I mean, if you give us two names who you think could be realistic, good signings that will fit into this squad, this squad dynamic, looking at the character, looking at, we don't want any prima donnas, do we, coming in? So can you think of anyone that's maybe a couple of strikers that you'd like to see coming in this summer?
Mbappe. I'm joking.
No, egomaniac.
Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, he's a good shout.
I think Benfica, I think he's absolutely quality. I think he'd be ideal. I've been watching quite a bit of La Liga recently, and I was one for Isak, but now I'm kind of moving away from that. He don't score enough for me. So probably Darwin Núñez because he's quite young as well, or Jonathan David. He's very like Lacazette. For me, like obviously we're going on the assuming that Lacazette's going to leave in the summer and in Nketiah. So obviously you need replacements for them. I know not a lot of people like him. I do like Ollie Watkins.
Sorry, a bit of sick came into my mouth. But
he's better than Nketiah, mate. Not as a number. I wouldn't have Watkins as a number one. Like it'd be like number 2 or number 3 for me. But if you're saying who do I want number 1 striker to be, probably Darwin Núñez.
Cool. Yeah, do you know what? I need to watch more of him
as well. He's got 6 goals in the Champions League, so not too shabby.
No, exactly. No, I need to watch a bit more of him actually, because I know of him obviously, and there's a lot of chat going on around him. I've seen a couple of highlight reels that have gone around doing the rounds on social media, but I need to watch a bit more of him.
There is a lot of talk about Felix as well, but I just don't think it's not the sort of forward we need. It's not like if you're bringing him in with someone else, because he ain't, as far as I know, he's not a proper centre forward, is he?
No, and I'm really surprised at that link, to be honest. I mean, what did they pay? 220 million for him or something along those lines? I mean,
from Benfica, 120 million plus bonuses.
Yeah. We're not paying that.
I mean, how much is he going to cost us?
60, 70 mil.
Well, we can pay it over 20 years.
No, but we could swap him for Torreira. I know they like Torreira.
Yeah,
just a straight swap. Straight swap. Yeah, actually, we could chuck in Bellerin as well. They like Bellerin as well, don't they?
But yeah, so someone like that. I know there's been a lot of talk about Tony as well, but I think that's only been mentioned because he scored a few goals recently, and I've
always liked him.
We're all saying these people look, just remember, no one had a bloody clue who Tomiyasu was when we
Yeah.
signed him, really. So they could have their eyes on someone that we have not even thought of.
I think that's going to be the case, personally. I really do.
Yeah, like I
I
would
bet-
not be surprised. Like they could go and sign some 20-year-old from Netherlands that we've never heard of.
Or Brazil, you know,
Or Brazil, yeah.
because I mean, look at Martinelli as well. He
Oh,
never
yeah.
gets mentioned in these sort of in the recruitment, does he? Really about the, I mean, fourth division of Brazilian football. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like a needle in the haystack type of
Oh,
situation.
yeah,
I know that
you know,
he had like scout. He went on trial with Man United more than once, didn't he? And Barcelona. So I know that people are aware of him, but it's still an amazing find for what, £6 million? I think they paid for him.
Something.
If we can get another one of those, another player like him to play as a striker,
I do think I will say
amazing.
that I do think we'll get a big name player in, but I don't. I think everyone's assuming it's going to be a centre forward, and I just wouldn't be surprised if it's not, and it's a midfielder.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Like Chelsea, they've all been building up to buy Declan Rice. They can't even afford special fried rice now. So, so you know what I mean. So, like, I don't know. I think we've got more chance signing Rice than Bellingham, but it all depends. Like Champions League football's back at Arsenal. Why wouldn't you go there?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we've got to offer now. And as you say, Chelsea at the equation. That's one club at the equation for certain players.
And Newcastle ain't at that stage yet. I don't.
No.
They might have won a few games, but it's going to take. I don't think they'll be battling for top four until maybe a couple of seasons. So we're going to be at Man City, Liverpool. But I only think personally, I think on our day, we can compete against anyone. I'm not saying we're going to be title contenders, but if we get Champions League, for me, that's not good enough. Like to just stop there. I don't want to be that team battling for top four, so they need to go out and move up to competing for titles again. Because then, if we're doing that, you keep people like Erdegaard, Saka, all them lot. So they've got more to offer.
I think
with
so.
Saka, I will say, I think everyone says about Saka, I think the character that boy's got is brilliant. Like, just as a person. But what people seem to forget is when Arteta was at City, look how good when he was working with Sterling, he was. And I think Arteta's I know they're playing different positions, but how they've elevated, I think Arteta's doing that with Saka.
Yeah, I do as well. I think our players are in good hands, to be honest with you.
One of the best young players in the world for me, Saka, at the moment. Like, everyone bangs on about Foden, Mount. Saka's better than... And maybe I'm biased, but...
He's an all-round player. He's got more
everywhere.
More strings to his bows. I mean, how many young players can play in 6 positions? Like that. I mean, Phil Foden, you stick him at right back as a right wing back.
The only place he ain't played is in goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you better go now, mate, because it's nearly half past. But it's been great to have you on board.
Cheers for having me on.
Hopefully, we'll see you again very, very soon. It's been great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, then. Cheers. Thank you.
No worries, mate.
Take care, mate.
See you, buddy. See you, man.
That was the great George, and you can get him on. Can't remember his exact Twitter handle, but obviously it's in the notes below. So go and give him a follow, and hopefully we'll see him again soon. I mean, the same question to you, Kunjan. Then, I mean, we've had this conversation a bit before, but I mean, we are looking at a couple of strikers, I'm sure, in the summer. I mean, just quickly, really. I mean, have you got your eyes on anyone new recently, or?
Okay. So I read a tweet today, and
good for you. Well done.
Yeah, and that tweet said something very cryptically, and I wanted to share it today. But people will call people like you and I delusional, but it's fine because it's good. Like when we were talking about Dusan Vlahovic last year, no one expected us to go in for Vlahovic, and the rest, as they say, is history. He wanted to go to Juventus, and he got his move. But this is coming from Fabrizio Romano, who says, Erling Haaland is only interested in what sporting project his new club can offer him and what his new manager offers him in a sporting sense. He doesn't care about money.
What
Now,
have I been saying for weeks? What have I been saying for weeks?
yes, but
We've started it off now.
but if we say this out loud, we're delusional, we're bonkers. But we've said this for weeks, we've said this for months. Why not? Why is this not a possibility? We talk about Odegaard. One phone call to say, listen, I know you're the big cheese and Madrid want you, Barcelona wants you. We're doing something. And I think Odegaard has even said it in his interviews. There's something special happening here at Arsenal. If he does that to his best mate and says, London's good, things are good here, the manager's great, this is the place to be. Why not?
Listen, I may be, a usual Arsenal fan, right? But to me, I'm not saying anything anything strange when I say Arsenal are still and always have been and always will be one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Right.
Okay, we've always been able to pull in some great players from all over the place, and although we've been in a bit of a trough the last few years, it doesn't write off the fact that we're still one of the world's greatest football clubs. We've been in a bit of a rut. We all know that for several seasons. But we are one of the most attractive clubs to join for any young player in the world right now. And I'm not being biased when I say that. Everyone can see the trajectory that we're on, the exciting players that we've got, the exciting young manager, the way that we are ripping things up at the moment in the Premier League, the way that we have got some, players like Odegaard that have come in who are just unbelievable at the moment. Saka, Smith Rowe, they're both world famous now because of the way the performances they've been putting in. They'll be known right across Europe. Every club in Europe worth their salt will be keeping tabs on Saka and Smith Rowe. Martinelli, of course, as well. Odegaard, Real Madrid fans are gutted that they got rid of Odegaard, and he is obviously, we all know that he's the captain of Haaland's national team. Why wouldn't they be having conversations? He's going to go and see him in a couple of weeks' time in the international break, I'm sure. So it's not strange that people will call us deluded. I don't think it is. All I've said all along, and I know I've been pulling people's leg for weeks now on this and your channel, Ryan, about Erling Haaland, and we've been having laughs about it. But all I've been wanting us to do is to be in the question, in the conversation. Why wouldn't we be, as Arsenal, why wouldn't we approach his agents and him and say, look, I know you're going to have offers from every club in Europe, but this is why you should come and join Arsenal. That's all I want. And I don't think that that's out the question. And I've always had that feeling, and I've been consistently saying this as well, that he seems to be that type of level-headed guy who would consider a challenge, would consider himself to be the one that could elevate us to the next level. And I just hope that's correct. And I hope that exactly what you've just read out from Fabrizio is correct. And I just want him to come and sit down and have a conversation with the club. And if he chooses to go somewhere else, then fine. But I'll be really annoyed and not quite upset if at least we don't throw our hat into the ring. That's all I want. Really.
Just want to clarify this. When we speak about our chances in signing someone like a Haaland, let's look at the potential suitors out there. We're not again being deluded, and if we are, God bless us. Madrid have Benzema. There's no way right now they want to get rid of Benzema. All right. Barcelona just got a
Madrid
striker.
want Mbappe. Madrid want Mbappe as well.
There we go. So now you get Benzema, you get Mbappe, you get Haaland. Someone needs to go, and they don't want to get rid of Benzema right now. Barcelona just got a certain number 14 from Arsenal, so I don't think they want to get. They want to replace that as we speak. There's no way Juventus are going to go in for him because they have Vlahovic. He's not going to be moving to France unless he moves to PSG, and we know what's happening at PSG. So that's out of the question. So there we come down to the Premier League. Chelsea spent £100 million on a striker just so he could put out an interview to say, I want to go back to Italy. The only Premier League club right now who needs a striker desperately are Man City. But where's the project there? Where is this gravitas that says, come over to Man City, this is what we're doing. The only thing Man City are trying to do are win the Champions League. I don't think Erling Haaland is right now looking to make his way to Man City, where he's going to be surrounded by De Bruyne, who's, I think, 30 or about to hit 30. I don't think Erling Haaland wants to be there, tweaking with a system with Pep, where one day he's playing a false nine, the other day he's playing an all-out. Like, he wants to fit into a system where everyone grows together. So on paper, there's only one club in the Premier League. It's not Liverpool. It's not Chelsea, for sure. It's not Manchester United, because if they get rid of a fridge, then they can make way for something else to take part in their furniture.
Yeah.
They're still battling with if Ronaldo is going to be there. And next, someone like Jadon Sancho was their big ticket signing.
Listen, with his dad's record, he won't go to Man United, I'm sure of it. Because his dad, him and his dad are actual Leeds fans. They've said that in the past. And after what happened to his dad by Roy Keane and the Leeds connection, they hate Man United. And the fact that Roy Keane broke his dad's leg in absolutely dreadful circumstances, I find it really hard to believe that he would betray his dad and go down that route of joining Man United. So I think you can write that off.
And that's what I'm saying, that believe it or not, in the Premier League, there are 3 clubs in the running for an Erling Haaland. There are 3 clubs. Manchester City, Arsenal, and unfortunately, them lot down the road.
You're on about that the ones that are playing white?
Yeah.
No chance.
Because, no, agreed, but these are the 3 potential suitors. So if you look at all the plethora of clubs that could be interested in Erling Haaland, and you narrow it down, and he had a choice between these 3 Premier League clubs, it's split between 2. And from those 2, you want to walk into a club where you feel important and you feel you're going to grow with them. And you know where that club is. So if you're asking what is a potential possibility of a striker, I've said it then, I've said it now. I think Haaland is a possibility.
Yeah, I'd just literally wet myself if that was the case. But I mean, Erling Haaland will wet himself in different circumstances. If Tottenham approached him, he would just laugh in their faces and have to. He would split his sides laughing and say, "Tottenham." Yeah, right. But no, I know that people probably have been saying for weeks I think I'm mad, and a lot of it has been tongue in cheek, but only partially, because I do think we'll be an amazing fit for him. Age-wise, squad-wise, be fantastic. So it'd be the most amazing window of all time, wouldn't it? If he's, like I said a few weeks ago, imagine with the day that we signed Mesut Ozil and how mad everyone went. I think it'd be that times 10 if we signed Erling Haaland. The excitement, I think the party would go on for like 2 weeks, wouldn't it? At least, if we got him over the line. But we can only hope, can't we? But we've just been going on for just over an hour now, so let's go on to some predictions for tomorrow. I'm going to stick to my one from yesterday on Ryan's channel. I think we are going to, in case anyone wasn't listening, I'm going to say we're going to win 2-1, but it's going to be like this. We're going to take a 2-0 lead. Then they're going to get a goal back. And then in the last 20 minutes, it's going to be like proper backs to the wall, defending, resilient defending, and we'll hold on. And the roof will lift off the Emirates on the final whistle when we get that 2-1 win over the line. That's what I'm going to stick to. I've just got that dream. And it's a hope more than anything, but it's a dream. That's my prediction. What's yours, Kunjan?
2-1. I don't see Liverpool not scoring. But I do see us maybe conceding first.
Right. You think we're going to come back? Wow.
because I think we will go for the jugular, and we may get exposed. But the good thing is it's the way we've been playing, which is we will then take it forward, and we've seen that. Like, do you remember it was last season where I think it was Reece Nelson and Lacazette who scored. I think it was Sadio Mane who scored, and we were 1-0 down, and we came back. I mean, different circumstance, different tactics, different team, but I like where you're going with the 2-0 prediction, where we're 2-0 up and they pull one back. Um, but I can also see Liverpool being under a lot of pressure, and we take advantage of that, which is why if they do have a goal up, they would be a little complacent, and we can try and sneak a couple of goals in.
Listen, I'll take you away as well. That'd be absolutely fine with me. See what win. Yeah, obviously we had this conversation yesterday, Ryan. Has having a good night's sleep done anything to that for you?
I'm going to stick with what I said yesterday, 2-1. Like I said, we honestly went for a 1-1 draw, and then we thought, actually, let's think about it, right? And so I'm going to stick with 2-1 to the Arsenal. I think, as I say, we're going to these. I said earlier, we're going into these games now with confidence that we can get something from this game, no matter who we're playing.
Mm.
And
Why
I don't see why we can't. I mean, also, if you look at it from a logical point of view, watching Liverpool recently, they lost to Inter Milan the other week, 1-0. They should have lost to West Ham if West Ham could finish their chances at Anfield. And Brighton just can't finish their dinner either. Otherwise, that could be a better game than what it was. So they are there for the taking. It's just we've got to be defensively sound ourselves at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stephen's gone. Said he can't go against Arsenal. 1-1 or 2-2. When I typed in, I can't go against the predictive text had Arsenal ready to put in. Even my phone knows. So good man, Stephen. I'll obviously we'd all take a draw as well. And just quickly before we do start wrapping up, there's two other comments that Stephen put in earlier as well, which I put a star against to have a look at later on. Have you noticed how many every time the club are doing well, the media always come out with something negative, trying to get a reaction from the fans? Yes, I have, Stephen, definitely. And he said when we're doing badly, it was all Arteta's contract extension, and now we're doing well, it's Arteta leaving for PSG. Give it a rest, for fuck's sake, he said. Which is exactly right. I mean, this Arteta to PSG rumour, by the way, and I did actually want to talk about that. Again, we spoke about it yesterday, Ryan, briefly, I believe, on your show. I may be naive, and like I said, it may come back to bite me in the arse, whatever. But I just genuinely feel with Arteta and a lot of the players that this sort of togetherness and camaraderie we've got is something special, and I honestly cannot see Arteta moving on to any other club in the Premier League, even Man City, when Pep goes. I don't see him leaving Arsenal. I see him that he really genuinely has got deep feelings and deep love for the club, and he will want to see this through. And until we, become perennial title winners, Champions League winners, I can't see him moving on. I don't know what you two guys feel about that, but that's the feeling I get. And I get the same feeling with players like Saka, Smith Rowe, even Ødegaard now. I can see Ødegaard becoming an Arsenal legend long term, being us. And like I said, I may be completely naive, but yeah, what about you?
No, I don't think it's naivety. I think, again, Arteta's a smart guy. He is a smart guy. Let's not get it all twisted and make out he's not got a brain between his ears, basically. He's probably how many years has PSG been under this current regime of the owners that they have? But over 11, 12 years, give or take, maybe a bit longer than that.
Yeah.
Whoever they hired never worked out. They've always gone for. They went for Laurent Blanc. They went for Ancelotti. They literally gone for any everyone, Emery, you name it. They've gone for Poch. And I think he did play for him briefly. Did he play for him briefly at one point in his career? But he's not the sort of person who see everything that's gone on at PSG and go, you know what, I've got a good thing here, but I'm going to go there because I've got money and it'll be easier for me. Because at PSG, PSG are literally the defence version of Tottenham. They bottle it every time. They have it on their hands. What was it? 6-1 up in the second leg a few years back under Emery. Lost 7-6 or something like that. It was something ridiculous like that. Leaking goals in the last 15 minutes left, right, and centre. But the model at PSG doesn't suit him either. From what we're seeing, how he wants to build his teams, it just doesn't suit him either because they want to beat the owners there. They want to buy the big guns and just let them even though they bring a manager in, it's the players that are like the Neymars and the Messis that are controlling the dressing room and basically dictating if they play or not. And as we've seen with Mikel with the Mesut Ozil situation and most recently Aubameyang, he doesn't suffer that, so it wouldn't work out anyway.
United are losing, which is hilarious.
The fullback scored. I think it's the left back that scored as well.
Hilarious, yeah. No, I mean, I'd be happy for them to get thrashed and go out. I don't worry about having more games in the rest of the season. I just like them getting beaten, full stop. I don't see them leaving, especially to PSG. It's disorganized chaos at PSG. It's exactly the same. I see them as a very, very similar run club to Man United. They'll just try and go for the big names, throw them all together, hope for the best. There's no thought about their recruitment and the way that these players are going to gel. They just try and buy all the big names and hope that they win. It'd be the worst move possible for him. We'll put it that way. I believe anyway. But we'll call it a day there, guys. It's been a good show with a lot to get through there. But thanks for your time, as always, and look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you to everyone in the chat, as always. Some great comments in there. Thank you a lot again, Stephen, Russ, and Gary, all contributing in the chat. Please give us a like on the way out, as Gary's asked you all to do. That'd be fantastic. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel, and obviously to Ryan's channel as well, the Mr. Arsenal podcast. Also, on the audio side of things, if you throughout the day, if you're out walking your dog, out doing your chores, at work, listen to the audio version of both of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, all the usual ones, and give us a rating at 5 stars so other people can find us as well. That'd be really much appreciated. So, thank you again, Kunjan. See you next week.
Good night, buddy. Thank you so much.
Bang on form.
Good to see you, buddy.
Absolutely bang on form. And Ryan, thank you very much again as well, mate. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. And yeah, same again tomorrow.
Yeah, all welcome. Oh, and by the way, I never remember to say it on the actual podcast, but thank you to you, Kunjan, for the new logo that we've got, which is really, really smart.
No.
I love the comments about it. So thank you very much for that. So once again, thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Take care and goodbye. Come on, you Gunners. Come on tomorrow. Come on, do us proud tomorrow, boys.